In here, one of the trails heading into my bait station. This was a coyote heading out of it. There's his footprints coming there. And trucks right along in through. And there's my snair. And he came hard through and didn't touch the snare. We'll have to center it a little bit better on the trail, maybe a little lower, and hope he's comes on back for a second run through, because apparently that snare didn't bother him too bad. This is the spot over here where in one of my other videos I'd said I was going to see if I could get the odds in my favor a little better, because they were running through this intersection and up this logging road and stuff. Well, this is what happened this morning, just to add insult to injury. There's my snare, and there's their footprints. Anyway, he wasn't a very big one, because his nose got right in that little corner right there and walked right in by the snare, just for the fun of it. And if that wasn't bad enough, over here you can see where they ducked under this old log, and I didn't want to there's where they're going, under the log, and I didn't want to get climbing there because I didn't want to leave that much scent, so I came out here. There's my snare. As you can see, lines up with the trail, but he stopped dead in his tracks right there. So he must have seen the snare. And he wandered all the way around and come out onto the trail right over here. And then, just to say, piss on you, he had a crap in the middle of the trail and literally a pee in the trail as well. I can't find it in the bright sunlight. Anyway, here it is. So I don't know who knows who is here, whether they know I'm here or vice versa. And the urine post that I had, which is right here, two of them came and pissed all over it. There's the pee. There's a urine post, and another one peed there. One step there, one step there, one step there, there, and right freaking there is the trap. I love coyote trapping. Anyway, I got a few more snares to set in here this morning. That left me 5 or 6 other trails, so we'll see how it all plays out. She's a rougher day on my trapping abilities, that's for sure. Anyway, this is a path I put in there. I actually put it in for the coyotes, but we hadn't got any fresh snow in quite a while, so I didn't figure they'd ever walk in my path. Well, they had no problem walking in my path. Came right in through to here and walked across. And they continued on, and the snare's right here. Isn't that a kicker? There's my snare, and there's where he pushed through. Another spot to put a snare. SOBs. Anyway, on down the line. This is the other end of my run where I turn around, and I've got a dirt hole set right there, which they haven't been into in probably 3 weeks, but they had walked all around it in one of my other videos. And anyway, they weren't down this far. They've been running under that big old deadfall there and coming up. But if we go up the trail here this morning where they missed all those snares, they weren't down this end at all, but in this alder thicket to the right hand side. I got a new bait station I just started. I've been putting scraps in there for a couple weeks now. But and I would say last night the coyotes were into it, because this is where they come out of in a couple different spots. There's one where they come out through, and that was fresh last night. And the night before, bobcat came out through there. Those are bobcat tracks. It's pretty hard to see in the sunlight, but there's your bobcat tracks that come out. So I set a couple snares in on the rabbit trails that he was following there. But the coyotes come out onto the trail here. Gave me a couple of how-do-you-dos. 2 big piles of crap right in the middle of the trail. Ran the whole length of the trail, and of course this part of the old logging road I've got no traps on, but wasn't that nice? Just full of deer hair and bone. Anyway guys, I'm going to pick this up because I'm going to move them to a dirt hole set down the way just to confuse the heck out of them. And see how we make out. If I get anything on the next ones, I'll pop her back on. I just finished setting 14 new snares down around the corner and out into the field off the logging road where they were running. And I got a couple new foot traps in front of their new urine post, and I moved their 3 piles of poop here on the trail, and I moved those all down. So it should confuse them a bit. Anyway, I come back up around the corner here, and there was some fresh bobcat tracks right here crossing, and a couple rabbit trails. So I took a few minutes and made a cubby, so deer meat hanging inside of there, and you probably can't see it very well, but there's a snare in the entry. And then just in case they try to do the old sneak around, there's a snare in there going around, and there's another snare in the back, so it's two-sided. It's basically just a walkthrough, but I put a roof on it because we're expecting some weather, and if it's exposed bait, birds will have it picked apart in no time. And on a few of my cubbies, I've been having the coyotes sneaking around and taking a peek in back, so I set a snare right in there in case the big boy decides to take a loop around. Anyway, I am extremely optimistic that if they're back tonight, there should be something tied up here in the morning, because I've got 22 snares out and 11 footholds here within a half a mile each other, and they've been running pretty hard the last 2 nights. They just haven't connected with anything, and there's really only been one that's actually avoided. The rest were duck unders or on the side. The ground is so hard here right now. We haven't had any fresh snow in almost 2 weeks, and it's just utterly miserable trying to trap, because number one, we've been freezing and thawing every day, but the real big thing is that all the animals, whether it's bobcats or coyotes, can basically go wherever they want. It's just like pavement through the woods and places, so it's pretty hard to keep them on a trail. All my snares are set on trails that I know they use, and there's a few that they're just going one way or the other on the opposite side of a tree, but I don't usually block them in too heavy, but I usually get more avoidance when I start blocking than anything else. So optimistic. See you tomorrow. See, January, I think 29th or 30th. Yesterday was the day I set all those extra snares because they were just running rampant in here, and it paid off, because there's one. Anyway, he's in a snare and he's still alive, so I'm not sure where it's got him at this point. So unfortunately I'm not going to be able to tape him much here because I don't want to lose him, but he's pretty relaxed looking laying there. He was just flomping around and he's hooked up. He didn't come around these other furs that I had here to get tangled up. He's actually just caught up in that tiny little one right beside his head. So I would say that's why he's not choked out. So he very possibly could be pretty near chewed off. So I'm going to put him down here and then we'll take another peek. There, we've got him put down now. I'll go take a look at him here. He's just going out. He's still got his teeth chomping there. Not much bite left in him. Anyway, little male, great big set of swollen up nuts on him. He had the snare around his neck and both of his front legs, but it looks like they've been just twisted around from how he's been jumping and stuff. But he hasn't been here very long. He's got stuff chewed up pretty bad, but there's another set of tracks running around in circles, and I kind of hoping I'd pick the other one up in the couple other snares I got, but no luck. Anyway, pretty good start to the morning. First set of rounds, we'll get him on tied and get the snare reset. This was our little trail right up through here towards my bait station, which is way down over the hill. Anyway, move on.